Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Master Duel video. In this one we're gonna take a look at Crystal Beasts. Now these guys, just like Gem Knights, recently got support in the latest selection pack. And we have a few new cards that make the deck really actually run. This deck is of course a nostalgia trip for a lot of you guys. I personally didn't play when these cards were relevant. I played up until the end of GOAT, and then came back for Master Duel, playing a little bit of Duel Links in between. But Crystal Beast, an old nostalgic deck, and we still run a lot of the same cards in the form of Crystal Beast Sapphire Pegasus, Carbuncle, Cobalt Eagle, and of course the big boy Rainbow Dragon. But we also have the new Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon, and the addition of the Crystal Beast in the name does actually make the card quite relevant. We run the Necro Valley Conclave control version. Necro Valley is very good against both Runics and Sprite, which is most of what you're going to face in the meta. It disallows the use of Runic's field spell, and Sprite Elf can't summon back stuff from the graveyard, which really shuts them down. This is an excellent card in that matchup. We have cards like Crystal Bonds, which gets us started. We have Crystal Miracle for negation, Awakening for search and special summoning, Rainbow Bridge of the Heart for extra normals and search, and a number of going second cards here in Forbidden Droplet, Lightning Storm, Raigeki, Harpy's Feather Duster, but also some maxis. Now the deck plays kind of mid-rangey. We set up on our first turn trying to set up a decent bit of interruption and then go for a big swing on the second follow-up turn. We'll get into that later. Right now I'm just gonna go through the card by card and what everything does. Maxi, everybody knows this. Carbuncle. The Crystal Beasts all have the effect where if they are destroyed in the monster zone, we can place them in the spell and trap zone as a continuous spell instead of sending it to the graveyard. And when Carbuncle is special summoned, we get to special summon as many Crystal Beast monsters as possible from our spell and trap zone. This is more relevant in the more combo focused variants of the deck. We don't really care that much about Carbuncle. It comes up sometimes, but not all the time. Cobalt Eagle, it's a level 4, it's a target for Sapphire Pegasus. It's there. Pegasus is the big boy. He allows us on summon to place a Crystal Beast monster from our hand, deck or graveyard in the spell and trap zone. That means that we can set up Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon, get into that soon. But first, Nemesis Corridor. In our combo we end up banishing, meaning that we can take advantage of Nemesis Corridor to get out a Thunder Dragon Colossus, which is of course a very powerful card. By shuffling back the banished card, meaning that we can reuse our Rainbow Dragon, which is the thing that will get banished, before we go into our Thunder Dragon Colossus. That works out very well for the deck. Then the most important card probably of the deck is Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon. It has the regular Crystal Beast effect, where if it's destroyed it gets placed in your spell and trap zone. If we're going second and we load up our board, this guy is 3000 damage and will help us get those OTKs more easily by being able to special summon itself in the battle step as well, which is quite useful. Then finally, the most relevant effect for our combo is you can banish this card, treat it as a continuous spell, special summon one level 4 or lower Crystal Beast monster from your deck but negate its effect, and add a ultimate crystal monster from your deck to your hand. This is then going to be the old Rainbow Dragon, because it is always treated as an ultimate crystal card. This guy is basically a Garnet. We don't want to see him in our opening hand. We want to add it off the Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon's effect. Dark Hole, Raigeki, Harpy's Feather Duster, very self-explanatory, just board clears. Foolish Burial Goods. With this we can send Rainbow Bridge of Salvation. which we then can banish to add a Sapphire Pegasus from our deck to our hand, and search Necro Valley. So we do have a native search for Necro Valley in the deck, which is very, very good. Rainbow Bridge allows us to search any crystal spell trap, which is of course amazing. Can help us set up our plays, extend, basically anything you need. Rainbow Bridge is there and very, very useful. Crystal Bond, add a Crystal Beast monster from your deck to your hand and place a Crystal Beast monster with a different name in your spell and trap zone. That can search us out our Pegasus and then add whatever else we want into the spell and trap zone, be that Cobalt Eagle or a Rainbow Dragon, what have you. It's very useful. Lightning Storm, same as these guys, very self-explanatory. Prosperity, because we can afford to banish some stuff from our extra deck, and we want to be able to get into our stuff. It's a consistency card, basically. Necro Valley, cards in the graveyard cannot be banished. Negate any card effect that would move a card in the graveyard to a different place. Negate any card effects that change type or attribute in the graveyard. This negates all the banishes and all the resurrection stuff, or any shuffle back or whatever else they're playing. Mostly this is against Sprite specifically and Runic. Both of those decks move a lot of stuff in the graveyard. With Necro Valley out, they can't. Rainbow Bridge of the Heart, this is quite an overloaded card in my eyes. You get to normal summon an extra time when you run Crystal Beasts. Then, during your main phase, you can destroy a Crystal Beast card you control or in your hand. So that can be in the spell or trap zone, for example. It doesn't need to be a monster. And then add a Crystal Spell Trap from your deck to your hand, which is amazing. And then, if a Crystal Beast is placed in your spell and trap zone, you can target one card your opponent controls, return that card and this card to the hand. So that's very good. If we're able to set up a Crystal Beast, we get to bounce. So it's a normal summon, it's a search and a bounce in a single card, which makes it very, very good, of course. Rainbow Bridge of Salvation, the first effect is not relevant whatsoever, so we can just ignore that. It's level 10s or higher, barely comes up in our deck, probably won't come up in any other. Don't mind that. The main reason we play this card is that we can banish it from our graveyard to add a Crystal Beast monster and a field spell from our deck to our hand. Crystal Miracle, this is our negate trap. Destroy one Crystal Beast, and if you do negate the activation of a card, destroy it. And then if a Crystal Beast card is placed in your spell and trap zone while this card is in your graveyard, even during the damage step, you can banish this card, place one Crystal Beast monster from your hand, deck or graveyard, face up in your spell and trap zone as a continuous spell. So we can load up our continuous spells, which we use to control the game, and as cost for a lot of our interaction. Crystal Miracle and Conclave. Conclave being the namesake of the deck. And speaking of Conclave, here we have it. It reads, once per turn, if a face-up Crystal Beast monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon one Crystal Beast monster from your deck. Importantly, that isn't our opponent's cards, that is any card. And if you remember what Rainbow Bridge of the Heart said, we can destroy one Crystal Beast you control or in your hand. Meaning that we can trigger this off a search already, meaning that we go plus off this card. It allows us to special summon out a Crystal Beast. It can be any Crystal Beast, can be our big 3000 beater, can be anything we need to be able to XYZ or link. Then, the control effect of the card, you can send this face-up card from the field to the graveyard, target a Crystal Beast you control, and one other card on the field, return them to the hand. Meaning that we get basically a pretty good removal spell where we can send back stuff in our spell and trap zone and then summon it out the turn after, recycling our stuff, giving us decent grind game. This is a very good card, and one of our main interactions in the deck. And that is going to wrap up the main deck. Let's jump into the extra deck. Thunder Dragon Colossus, as I covered earlier, you get this out with Nemesis Corridor. The main effect on Thunder Dragon Colossus is cards cannot be added from the main deck to your opponent's hand except by drawing them. It is also protected. If this card would be destroyed by battle or a card effect, you can banish one Thunder monster from your graveyard instead. And we will be able to set up a Thunder monster in our graveyard through Nemesis Corridor. We will always have at least one protection on Thunder Dragon Colossus. Abyss Dweller, this is excellent against the Ishizu Grass decks that are running around as well. So being able to end on this and a Thunder Dragon Colossus with a Necro Valley out is going to cover a lot of our bases and make sure that our opponent can't play as they would like. Lightning Chidori, I run 2 of this card, but this is more of a budget deck. You run a Tornado Dragon usually, but I decided, hey, they do almost the same thing. Lightning Chidori is a SR, and I just want to save on my CP. Lightning Chidori reads, if this card is Xyz summoned, target one set card your opponent controls, return that to the bottom of the deck. Importantly, they can respond to this effect, and Lightning Chidori will fizzle, but then you have the follow-up effect where once per turn, you can detach one Xyz material from this card, then target one face-up card our opponent controls, return that to the top of the deck. So if they flip in response and it's a continuous effect, we can activate the second effect of Lightning Chidori to make sure that that bounce goes through, or we get to remove 2 cards on the field for 1 summon of Lightning Chidori. This is a very good card. We run Giant Hand. This is basically a kinda iffy monster negate, but it only requires 2 monsters and it has decent stats. When a monster effect is activated on our opponent's field, quick effect, you can detach 2 materials from this card, then target one effect monster our opponent controls. While this monster is face up on the field, that effect monster's effects are negated. Also, it cannot change its battle position. So if our opponent manages to clear our Giant Hand, it really doesn't accomplish much. But some decks are very susceptible to interruptions in the right places. For example, just on top of my head, Dragon Link, we negate one of their important effects and they kinda get shut down most of the time. We have the Zodiacs, Tiger Mortar, Boarbow and Shakanine. These are here so that we can attack through their stuff with Boarbow, who can attack directly, and then go into a big 4-piece or 5-piece Zeus, being able to send everything. This is also one of our main lines, but this is very good going second, attack over behind or under. Attack under their board, pull out the Zeus, send everything. If they chain and negate, we can do it again. Very good. Baguska, this is... I kinda call this deck Baguska Pass, because that's what I do a lot of the time when I set up. I get out a Thunder Dragon Colossus, a Baguska on the field with a Necro Valley, a Conclave with maybe a Cobalt Eagle in the back row for more interaction, maybe a Miracle, depends on the opening hand. Baguska is gonna shut down any monster stuff they want to do. Thunder Dragon Colossus is gonna shut down any searching they want to do. Necro Valley is gonna shut down any extension they want to do. And then if they actually commit stuff to the board, we can send it away with Crystal Conclave or just negate it with Miracle. That's one of the main setups and I like it quite a bit. Then we have number 60, Dugaris. Dugaris is just to draw cards if we're stuck, if we want to set up more, if we're looking for something. Dugaris can help us unbrick, can also help us extend, and it's a level 4, so hey, why not? Then we run a small link engine in the form of Nightmare Phoenix, Unicorn and Access Code Talker. These cards are so ubiquitous at this point that really everybody should know what they do, and I'm not gonna go through them because, come on, it's just the basic links, you know? But with that, we have wrapped up the deck list. I'm gonna jump into an example game and just show you how this deck does its first turn. Right, so this is gonna be the combo guide for Crystal Beasts. And we've started quite well, actually. We have 2 Crystal Conclaves. So we might want to set up as many Crystal Beasts as we can to be able to take advantage of those. But we're gonna start off with the Foolish Burial Goods. We have a single target, and that is the Rainbow Bridge of Salvation. Send it to the graveyard, banish it out, it will search us any Crystal Beast, will add Pegasus, and then add Necro Valley. We can activate that later. Gonna summon out the Crystal Beast Sapphire Pegasus, and set up a Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon in the macro. Gonna send that out to summon out yet another Sapphire Pegasus. Rainbow Dragon to hand by the effect. That's gonna activate, it's gonna be negated. Now here we do have an interesting choice, in that we could set 2 Conclaves, activate Necro Valley, and hope that 2 points of interaction is going to be enough. Could go for Abyss Dweller, but again, I like to go into Baguska because I think it's really annoying. Just set up the Necro Valley, and this is a very basic turn 1. We essentially didn't have any extension, any searching, anything, just our Crystal Conclaves. And we could use this again, just keep the Crystal Sapphires on board. If they, then we flip Crystal Conclave on their turn. If they get destroyed, we get to summon. This is a soft once per turn. We can do this per each Conclave, so if they pop our stuff, they get sent to the back row. We can then carbuncle to go and pull them all up again by the effect of Crystal Conclave, and then being able to use Conclave's second effect to send those cards that we just summoned out through that little combo. To be able to send them back to our hand, we can summon it next turn, their card. If they spend their normal summon, or if they link into something, we can just send it away with Conclave. And yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to the combo. It's a mid-range control deck. We aim to defeat our opponent at turn 3. Final thoughts here on the Crystal Beast deck. Honestly, it's a nostalgia bait in my eyes. It doesn't really perform very well. It's often just Baguska pass with a Necro Valley and just hoping and praying that they don't have like a Lightning Storm or a Dark Hole or anything that just cleans us out. It's alright, you could probably grind up quite high with the deck if you get good with it. But honestly, in my eyes, there are so many better options out there if you want to go for like Big Zeus's or Baguska. There's no real point in picking Crystal Beasts over anything else, in my opinion, really. But yeah, that's gonna wrap up another video. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe as always. And I'll see you guys soon. I think I'm gonna do a structure deck review next up, so keep an eye out on the channel for that. I'll see you guys later. Bye.